let's jump right into our Miles for Memories moment, because Sherry Sherman is here from Miles for Memories. And hey, good morning.
Well, good morning, Tim. Glad to be here. Thank you.
It's really great to see you today. And what we've been doing is taking different aspects of, people that are suffering memory loss, and families and caregivers that are dealing with that, and kind of focusing on certain things. And today, confusion with time and place.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of scary, a lot of these kind of apply to me, but there's a difference between your normal, everyday, lapses of time and memory and stuff, and recurring problems with
right.
that.
Right, most definitely. So if you can be reminded of what you are and where you are within a short period of time, then you're going to be just fine. It's those that have, as you mentioned, that recurring questioning, loss of time, loss of location, loss of understanding of where they might be. Those are the individuals that we need to start looking at more intensely and trying to help them in the direction that they're going.
And a big warning sign is, a disorientation with time.
Correct. Yeah. So what time is it? What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? What time? Shouldn't we leave? Shouldn't we leave? Shouldn't we leave? Or when you let somebody know that you're going to do something at 2:00 and it's 10:00 in the morning, they might ask you 15 minutes later, and then ask you again 15 minutes later, and ask you again, because their sense of time is now out of whack.
Yeah. They can't gauge it.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So it's often best if you just don't mention it until you're getting closer to the time when you need to leave, because they don't need the same kind of preparation time, since they're not the ones that are doing most of the work at this point.
Sure, yeah. But I guess it's easy to get frustrated when people are constantly asking you what time it is and losing track of the time.
It is. And so part of the process for the caregiver is to understand the disease process and to understand that they aren't doing this to frustrate you. They are doing this because they are indeed confused about that loss of time. And frankly, the best thing that you can do in terms of reorienting yourself is to just be aware of the fact that they're going to ask. So just answer the question or redirect them towards another topic. And when you do that, then their thought process might go right along with you, and you can talk about something else.
Sure. I guess that's the biggest thing. Remain calm, because you'll only exacerbate it, because even people with memory loss, they can sense, frustration, and then stress leads to what? Even more trouble. Right.
So the more calm that you can be, the more de-escalating of a situation that you can be, the better it's going to be for everybody involved, not just the individual who is dealing with some form of dementia, but you as the caregiver. So keep your focus on staying and remaining calm. And, frankly, you can also do some things to prevent the frustration from happening.
Mm-hmm.
So as I mentioned earlier, you might just want to not bring up something that you're going to do until much later in the day, so that you're not asked about it constantly throughout the day. Keep them engaged, or be busy with them doing some other things. Be aware of what the traditional day was like before dementia set in. So as an example, if we have a school teacher that at 3:00 every day gets to the point of cleaning up the classroom, picking up supplies, putting things away, and you recognize that about 3:00 every day, your loved one gets up and they start moving papers around, they start collecting things, they start doing things. It seems as if they're shuffling and they're being frustrating, but the reality might be that's just part of their typical day that they were used to years and years ago.
Here's a good one. Let's say a spouse is battling memory loss, and the other spouse has to go to the store and do some shopping and leave the other person home. If they don't have that sense of time, they may just get very anxious, wondering, oh my gosh, she's been gone for 10 years or 10 hours or whatever. So I guess a little tip, you could write down the time before you leave.
Yep, you could. You could write down the time before you leave. You can put it in number form. You can make a little clock face. You can let them know what might be happening in that way. At some point in time, you might decide that leaving them home alone isn't safe for them, and you might want to take advantage of some of the respite programs that we have around in our community.
Sure.
So, be aware of what might be safe or not safe for them at the same time.
But if that person that's having the trouble has a card that's on the kitchen table that says, I left at 9:47, and now they can look at the clock and compare, and okay, it hasn't been that long.
Right.
And then they can relax a little bit.
And that might be all that they need.
Man. it's a tough thing. Miles for Memories does so much, though, to help with these little tips and with programs. And again, if you get to that point where you've got to go to the store, but you feel you can't leave that loved one at home, what should we do?
Again, you can take advantage of one of the respite programs, so you might need to schedule your trips a little bit differently. I would also invite you to engage family members and friends. Sometimes friends say, call me if you need help, call me if you need help, and we never do. And we don't know what to ask them to do. Well, 10 minutes of respite, a half an hour of respite, an hour to go to the store and come back is just so refreshing for the caregiver.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Sherry, for stopping in
You're
today.
welcome.
And we'll look forward to our next Miles for Memories moment again at this time next week.